So my presentation was about trying to learn what chess players do to analyze chess games efficiently, and how can we apply that into security analysis for a system. Because I think what happens many times is we get excited as security testers by just looking at something that might be very promising without having looked at the rest of the items. And then we spend so much time on that to then find it's not exploitable. And then you had something beside it that was exploitable and you didn't even look at. So we are not using time efficiently. And this all came from the Offensive Security Certified Professional. For the certification, there's a 24-hour hacking challenge. So my situation in 2008 was that I had less than 1 year of experience in security, so I was really afraid that, well, if there are this many security testers who have more than 5 years of experience and they are failing the test, I have no chance. So what I did to prepare for that test was to put together a set of scripts that would automate a lot of my tasks so that I can work in parallel. And these are the concepts that have been applied into my open source tool, which is called OWTF, the Offensive Web Testing Framework, which is an OWASP project. And it's going to be in the OWASP Google Summer of Code. So students can be paid to work on it during the summer instead of flipping burgers. So in this talk, what I'm going to be talking about is pen testing like a grandmaster, trying to use the techniques that chess players have been using for a very long time to analyze games efficiently and perform at the highest level. So essentially, the idea is to do all the uncreative work in the background while the human is thinking in parallel. And they have an interface so that they can flag, okay, this tool output I have already reviewed, and the output is not important for me in the context of the test that I'm doing. But this other tool, the output is really promising, and I think this might be a good way of attacking the site. So what I discussed during the talk was that what chess players do is they analyze in 2 sweeps. So at the beginning, there are a lot of moves they can make that are legitimate, and what they do is they discard the less interesting ones. So they take out of all of those, and they try to focus their analysis on 3 or 4 moves that look the most promising, and those are the ones that they analyze in more depth. So what I try to do with OWTF is apply the same concept, but for security analysis. So what you have is all the tools are run for you in the background, and then you review the output of the tools, and you can flag, okay, you do this shallow analysis first, discarding a lot of stuff that is not interesting, and then you can flag what is more important. So you do this first sweep that you look at everything, but without spending too much time on it, and then you can spend more time on the parts that look the most promising. And this way, you can really see the whole picture and try to think not only how to probably get in, but also how to change vulnerabilities like a real attacker would do. And then there was a little touch on that is just not web application security, that if you get in, you have to show impact, and there's all this pivoting. And there was, in the last scenario that I showed, there was all this pivoting and stuff that I think is really important to show to the customer if there's network segmentation or not, and how much damage can you really make if you get in. So that's more or less what I try to cover in the talk. Well, one thing is that the people tend to get carried on. It's the same as when somebody starts to play chess. You think, oh, this move looks really promising, and then you look at that, but you miss the other move that was better. So in security, we have some of that, but another big problem is that people typically they do not prepare ahead of time, and they do not scope properly. So what I covered was some scenarios where with OWTF, it separates the plugins that you can run without permission from the ones that you need permission for. So there's like passive that don't send any traffic against the target, semi-passive that send traffic, but the traffic is normal looking, as if a normal user is visiting the site. And then there's active that would be like direct vulnerability probing, which is much more noisy, and you need permission for. So what I tried to explain was that if you have a brief look at the passive and semi-passive stuff, then you can probably see, well, they're asking me to test this site, but this site is talking to this other site, so should that other site be in scope as well? So you can have all these questions that you can negotiate with your customer to extend the scope if it makes sense. And without doing a little bit of that preparation ahead of time, I think most people are missing out. Yeah, you have to use your time as best as you can, and you really have to devote your life to what you love doing. So if you don't really love security, it's going to be very difficult to be successful in it, and you just have to put the work in and try to be as efficient as possible. Being efficient can only be achieved by building individual skill. So I talked about 3 strength factors during the talk. So there's individual skill, game preparation, and then game performance. Because what's going to happen during some tests is that the emotions of the tester are going to go up and down. Like there's these moments of excitement when you get in, and these moments that are really low when you find that, oh, I have to report all this and I'm running out of time. So having controlling the emotions and trying to use the time as effectively as possible. Having an interface or something that allows you to say, okay, this I have already reviewed and I don't have to ever look at it again, which is the same chess players do. They only analyze each combination once, because otherwise they're giving the other guy an advantage. So that's what the talk tried to do, explain all that and apply it.